Hi and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this video I'm going to be looking into the question, what are this person's intentions towards you and their next possible actions? There are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is this crystal. Group 2 is this crystal. And group 3 is this crystal. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection, and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. Chose this crystal. So let's start by taking a look at what are their intentions towards you. Okay, so we have Spirit of Gratitude. So it feels like this person wants to show you a side of themselves that doesn't ordinarily come out this quickly in terms of a romantic connection, or even some layer of authenticity they have never before felt inspired to share with another person. There's a sense of their intentions as well being to really set the stage, lead by example in terms of deepening the bond between the two of you through an approach of rigorous truth. Even if there are kind of difficult things that they are needing to convey, fears and hesitations, as well as a level of honesty about excitement, maybe making their intentions known very directly, that's coming up for you in the near future that may pose as kind of a challenge for you to really digest and grasp as a concept and a reality, because it might be so different from what you're used to with other people who have played mind games, who have been elusive as far as their emotions are concerned. There's almost a presumption on this person's part that you may have had people sort of play games with you previously, and so to counteract any trust issues you may have or any kind of hesitation or uncertainty about them, there's a sense of, again, like leading by example in being very direct, being very honest with you. It feels like this person values honesty above all things as well. And so rather than just sort of setting an impossible standard and not kind of matching up to that in their own respective way, there's a sense that they will take the first step in order to disclose some things about what it is that they are looking for in a connection, where it is that they envision the two of you moving towards with one another in the future, as well as it feels like making abundantly clear any sort of obstacles which exist, any sort of fears and hesitations about what comes next in this situation, maybe even an intention to give you details about their backstory to provide you with some kind of context as far as what they're working with emotionally or in terms of wounding to help you manage your expectations at like the rate of development in this situation. But it's an intention to share truth with you in order to lay a foundation of transparency upon which they feel that a more successful relationship between the two of you can be built. We also have beyond the ordinary, so it feels like this person intends on outdoing even the best love story that you have known. Maybe you're somebody who's never been loved properly, and you've conveyed that to them in indirect ways, anything you've shared so far, that it feels like they've been making note of in their mind. And so there's a sense of, I want to outdo the best love stories you've experienced, the worst love stories that you've experienced, so that regardless of the longevity in the situation, your experience with me is something memorable in a positive way. It feels like they do not intend to add to woundedness. They intend to do their best in order to be gentle with your heart, careful with any kind of wounds that you have that have been slow to heal, or maybe even things that have kind of changed you as a person in the ways in which you allow others into your life. You allow yourself to freely express love, or maybe you're a little more reserved about that. It feels like this person really wants to, they intend to kind of learn the perimeters of you in order to not purposefully overstep boundaries or push you at a rate that you're not comfortable with, to evolve and sort of deepen the intimacy between the two of you. There's a sense that they want to show you a very gentle version of love, but also something that is fierce and beyond kind of your wildest imaginings in a very positive way, in terms of a very unique blend of respect and also kind of freeing themselves from any sort of inhibitions, limitations, any sort of preconceived notions that they may have had as far as when they first met you, or early stages of your interactions with one another, where they saw kind of the course of the relationship heading. It's the intention for them, again, to like lead by example and sort of take down those barriers, sort of throw the map away of what the future may look like, and really just go with the flow, trust their instincts, show you in a way that is demonstrated through their actions that they are willing to sort of expand and compromise and stretch beyond their own kind of limits in terms of expectation and wounding, in the hopes that you will feel comfortable and invited to do the same, or will at least look upon the experience that they provide for you as something which fills you with a degree of emotional reassurance, but also is something that there's a hope or an intention to raise the bar, raise the standard as far as any future people that you may be involved with romantically speaking. If this doesn't turn out to be like your forever person, there's a sense of, I want anyone that would come into your life after me to really have to work extra hard in order to outshine kind of the ways in which I plan on showing up in your life, romantically speaking. They're wanting to leave a deep impression upon your heart in a very positive way, it feels like. We also have inner calling. So the intention here is to really follow their instincts as far as what comes next in the situation. They may have been very tied into logic before, or were kind of slowing themselves at the pace of development and opening up in sort of the earlier stages of the connection, sort of on the presumption of like good things take time, or maybe learning from their past mistakes of things where they've rushed headlong into situations that may have led to sort of this energy of, you weren't certain. What are the long-term plans of this person? What are they going to express, if anything? And it feels like they've reached some sort of threshold where either they feel comfortable enough sort of with the experience that you've had at sort of this slow and measured pace, and so they're ready to kind of take that measured approach up to the next level, where there's more impulsivity, but in terms of like following their intuition. It's the intention here to just sort of let the foundation that you've made with one another sort of take on a life of its own, where they may have in the past sort of been like, well, is it too soon to share certain things, or express love in a very particular way, or the feelings that were growing for you. It's a sense of, if they have the urge to do something sweet, do something generous, do something nice, or even have a very honest conversation with you, maybe about fears or difficulties from their past, or things going on in their life at this point, rather than overthinking and kind of letting that intellectual or mental energy be the driving force. There's a sense here of sort of stepping back from that, easing off of that, and allowing their heart space, their true romantic potential, to really take over at this next stage of the connection with one another. We also have awareness. So the intention is to make you very well aware that they consider you to be a prize worth fighting for. Your heart is worth fighting for. Whatever it is that you need in order to come into a space within yourself of this person's actions are aligning with what it is that they are conveying to you, or there's a high degree of kind of what they're demonstrating softens you into a place of more receptivity. It feels like they intend to kind of speak and communicate directly, but really lean into that intuitive center within themselves where they're feeling into the energy, the vibe that you are giving off and acting accordingly. They're feeling into that vibe within themselves and no longer, putting time frames on things. They're aware that this is a unique bond. They're aware that it's a special bond. They're maybe aware through their previous experiences in romance, things that have fallen apart, that exercising too much control and not allowing for a very organic experience to blossom between two people, emotionally speaking, that it just puts too many constraints on the phenomenon of love, which is something that should be unbridled in its highest capacity. And so there's a sense here that this person really wants to make you aware. The intention is to make it known to you that yes, they've got some kind of structure in mind. Yes, they had a plan of action. Yes, they had sort of a destination they'd like to reach with you, but they're trusting fully in the experience with you, who you are as a person and who they become in your presence, to really just kind of relinquish a lot of that control and see what happens. No conditions put on things, it feels like, at this point in time, which it feels like is not how they normally approach love, partnerships, or even matters in their life. They may be somebody who is very risk averse, very kind of logically oriented, and so this could be new territory. This could be kind of a grand gesture of love, something that further down the road they may look back on and kind of share with you as like, this is the most bold thing that I ever did as far as matters of the heart are concerned, is just relinquishing my need to control the outcome and just going with the flow, because they sense that you are somebody and they intend to kind of meet you at that level, but you're somebody who could really show them a different kind of experience in love and partnership than they've known before. And so in order to kind of match that frequency within you, it's the intention of not trying to grip so hard onto sort of what comes next, what they're going to say, what they're going to do, but it's a lot more trust in sort of the free-flowing capacity between the two of you, so that again it creates a very unique and memorable experience in romance for the two of you in a long-term sense. So let's take a look and see what their possible actions are towards you. Okay, we have rejuvenating rain and begin now. So this is somebody who's activating the next phase of the connection between the two of you, something by way of an emotional gesture, an emotional conversation, something that really gives you a peek into the feeling space inside of them, something that is very outside of the box for what they normally do in love and partnerships, or it's something that represents a whole new level of disclosure and the building of intimacy between the two of you than has been the case up to this point in time. So this could be, like planning some sort of special occasion between the two of you that's very intimate, very private, very cozy, and just really sort of sharing in that ambient space with one another, revealing deeper truths or expressing feelings that they've held in at this point in time, because there's a sense of understanding on their part that you require more clarity. This connection, what you have with one another at this point in time, it's worth investing in. And so the next action towards you, it feels like, is some sort of emotional investment, something that brings forth a lot of tenderness and lovey-dovey feelings into the situation. So this can be kind of things that aren't just sort of empty words, but meaningful conversations, conversations, meaningful things, things that really demonstrate and showcase they see you as an individual. They recognize you as somebody very unique, somebody very special to them. And so it's an energy of kind of like, I want you to open up emotionally to me, so I'll go first and kind of lead by example in terms of opening up and expressing some deeper truths that have kind of been hanging in the air between the two of us and need to be articulated in some way. So let's get some message cards from their higher self and see what they want to tell you right now. And we have, your heart is like no other I have known. So they definitely see you as a unique individual. They feel very lucky to have met you, lucky to have encountered you at this point in their life. And it feels like they're getting ready to pull out all the stops in order to secure more of a steady place in your life, maybe even planning on making things official between the two of you, so that there's no doubt in your mind that they are invested with you, not just now, not just today, not just tomorrow, but there's a long-term kind of an energy to this. We also have, I surrender my heart to you. Yeah, so this is somebody who's getting ready to open up emotionally, maybe tell you that they love you, express those feelings that they've been holding inside, or in some sort of way to allow more of that heart-centered energy to take a dominant role in this situation, whereas it may have been very kind of practical, very logical, just getting to know sort of the specifics about one another. And so it's very consciously kind of moving into a place of talking about their feelings, asking how you are feeling, sharing intimate details about themselves, their past, their hopes for the future, maybe even kind of speaking about things in terms of like we and us, so that you have this understanding that they see you as somebody that they want to incorporate within their future. We also have, you and I are past due. It's time we fix that. So again, this is somebody who wants to take things to the next level, wants to give you some kind of reassurance that they're not going anywhere. They're in this for the long term, that they may have kind of had control issues with this situation up to this point in time, or have been trying to take sort of a logical, practical approach to the circumstance, but it has reached sort of the end of the line as far as that's concerned. Not that they're not going to be smart and using logic about things, but it feels like this is definitely somebody who wants to give their heart, give that emotional space the opportunity to really be demonstrated to you, expressed to you, so that you feel comfortable opening up and sort of letting this person know, what is it that you need? What is it that you want? What is it that will make you feel fulfilled, so that we are co-creating the next stage with one another. And they also say you are truly something special. So again, they feel very lucky to have met you, very lucky to have crossed paths with you. This feels like somebody that you're actually helping to heal their heart and any kind of like woundedness, betrayal, disappointment, lack of self-esteem, and kind of feeling maybe pessimistic about love or the prospect of love. And then you came into their life and you really helped to sort of reshape, it feels like, the way in which they look at themselves as like a valuable person to others, emotionally speaking. Your interactions with one another, even in sort of a platonic or surface level capacity, there's something about the energetic exchange between the two of you which fills this person up with a sense of confidence about themselves that might have been lacking, and is really giving them the motivation to look towards the future with you, and also towards the person that they are becoming, through the interactions with you, through kind of what is blossoming within them, by being in a situation where feelings are developing, admitting to themselves that feelings are developing, getting ready to admit and show you even more deeply the nature of those feelings that have developed. All of that, it feels like, is lifting this person up in a way that they see that, they feel that, they feel better about themselves just by being in your presence. And so it feels like something that they will do what they have to do, and even things that are quite extraordinary in order to make sure that you know that you are celebrated, you are cherished. They treasure the experience of you. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name if you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got U, A, P, E, S, Q, X, F, M, O, V, J, C, Z, W, and N. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. Chose this crystal. So let's see, what are the intentions of the person on your mind towards you? So we have birds of a feather. So this indicates that this person intends to focus on the similarities between the two of you, the hopefulness that any obstacles and challenges can be overcome in this situation, because this is somebody who's determined to cross a great distance, maybe something inside of themselves that is hesitant or fearful about the nature of the feelings that have developed for you, in order to be able to seize the moment in this situation and to experience what more can develop, or something where there are outward circumstances, material challenges between the two of you that they are not going to be thwarted by. This is somebody who's coming up with a plan. They're coming up with a strategy. They intend on keeping their eye upon you, who they view as the prize, in order to be able to navigate through those difficulties and challenges, because this is someone who they are very determined, it feels like, to experience something more with you, or to fight very rigorously in order to be able to stabilize the connection after any sort of turbulence, or in the process of kind of removing those boundaries and obstacles between the two of you, so that by the time there's the ability to have more cohesiveness or closeness, you will be able to look back on efforts that they've made, and it's not just empty words and promises of like, I'm devoted to you, I want this, I want a future with you. But this is somebody who their love language might be actions, action steps that are taken. And so it's a sense of almost like taking an inventory of all the things which stand in the way of a free and open expression of love between the two of you, and systematically dismantling those things where they can, and as quickly as they can on their side of the equation, so that you are able to kind of look at the progress between the two of you as something that they weren't just passive about the situation, but they've been very proactive in order to try and earn or secure a place in your heart and in your life. We also have a higher view. So this is somebody who wants to show you a higher level of love, a higher level of commitment, a higher level of devotion than they have been able to show at this point in time. Again, it feels like there may be circumstances between the two of you, maybe material blocks and obstacles that have prevented the two of you kind of just moving towards one another in a very unencumbered sense. So it's this element of sort of like, I will fight for your heart. I will not be sidetracked or delayed any longer than necessary by the distractions in my life, the things that are kind of pulling my attention or that I'm duty bound to or obligated to deal with and address. I'm not going to allow those things to sabotage what we have with one another or what we can build towards. There's a sense of really wanting you, it's an intention of making you feel like a priority, even if they may have a lot going on at this point. They do not intend on making you feel like an option or feel like second best, but there's a sense that whatever they have happening in their life at this point in time, they're viewing it as temporary or, something that kind of, it's cyclical, it's seasonal, it's got an expiration date to it, or it's in the process of being wrapped up, but they envision you as their future, as the next chapter, as something that is kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. And so it's the intention of kind of doing extraordinary things or getting very creative in terms of the ways that they can show and demonstrate their love to you at this particular point in time, while they may be otherwise occupied with different things in their life, different sort of obstacles that are taking place or that exist at this point, which prohibit the two of you kind of being with one another at this point in time. These are internal obstacles in terms of like fears of getting hurt or, wounds of the past that maybe you came into their life shortly after a breakup. They weren't looking for anyone. They were looking to just focus on themselves perhaps. And yet there are these undeniable feelings for you where they are recognizing that you are a gift, you are a godsend, you are somebody that lights them up inside. And so it feels like an aspect of almost that fighting for you in this situation, maybe sort of rethinking a time frame that they had given themselves in terms of like, I need to be single for this amount of time, I need to focus on the following things in the aftermath of a breakup, or wounds that have been sort of stubborn to heal and close, and that they've sort of utilized that as the compass by which they have navigated towards or away from emotional connections with others. You encourage this person to move beyond those things, to accelerate their own healing, or to get very creative in terms of the ways in which they close out sort of that cycle of wounding within themselves that may have caused them to almost feel very kind of overwhelmed almost when they first met you, or feelings started to develop because you and love and romance weren't on the radar of sort of what their focus was. They may have just been focusing on themselves, and then you turned up in their life and there's a sense of, you are too valuable of a potential for my future to allow the wounds or whatever it is that I've been focusing on or needed to focus on to deprive me of the opportunity to experience you more deeply as a person. We also have learning. So it feels like this person intends to learn your love language so they are able to meet your emotional needs more appropriately. They may also, kind of to tie back in with that birds of a feather card, they may be coming to understand that you are very similar with one another. You balance one another out in a way that they might not have experienced with another person in a partnership. So there's an eagerness here. There's an excited energy, almost like, I know I'm not going to find someone like you ever again in my life. So I want to do whatever I can to learn the ways in which you need to feel validated. You need to feel secure within our situation, even if it's not the ideal at this particular point in time, because I'm invested in sort of turning the page beyond the present reality into something where we are co-authoring our story with one another. We also have success. So they it feels like they intend, for most of you, this person intends to be your last love, your forever person. They may even think of you as the one, or kind of like, I'm going to marry that person. You have captured their heart, and it feels like they are not fighting that. They are not resisting their feelings, even if they're needing to be sort of a little cautious with what they are expressing at this point in time. There's a sense that they don't want to give you not even so much false hope, but they're not wanting to build all this energy of desire between the two of you if they presently sort of lack the capacity to actualize upon that. Like if there's distance between the two of you, it's a sense of they want to build that chemistry. They want to kind of capitalize upon all that sexual tension, but there's a sense of, I don't want you to feel so much longing and loneliness that it diminishes from your capacity to kind of enjoy your life at this point when we are building a bridge towards one another, or I'm trying my hardest to get there to where you are, to get to a space in my life where I can invite you in, and it's all about you, and it's all about us, and it's all about this situation. So this is somebody who intends on consistently sort of feeding into this connection to make sure that you steadily recognize and kind of in hindsight are able to look back on sort of the early days of your connection, or whatever's going on right now, from like a future standpoint, from a future vantage point, and to look at it like they were making an effort as best as they could the whole time. They were invested the whole time. Even if there were times where they could only give a little, this is somebody who, maybe giving as well is kind of the love language, to where it's a sense of almost like, I want to make you understand in a long-term capacity that I will invest everything that I can in this situation into you, emotionally speaking, because I see you as my forever person. I see you as the home for my heart. So definitely somebody who intends to do whatever it takes in order to create the best possible potential for success in a long-term sense between you. So let's take a look at their possible actions towards you. We have breaking trail and passion and pleasure. So this person may do something very unexpected, very spontaneous, very out of character from what you've known of them at this point in time. Maybe it's big news that they have to share with you, or something that represents like an obstacle or a block in their life that they're getting ready to close out or remove from their reality, from their life, from their presence. Something that lets you know unequivocally, I am headed towards you. I am doing whatever I can in order to sort of shorten the distance between the two of us, heal the wounds inside, so that I can invite you in fully. And it's a safe and sacred space, emotionally speaking, for the two of us to experience a next level partnership with one another. Something it feels like that will very specifically fulfill like your emotional needs, or something that really demonstrates a level of thoughtfulness for who you are as an individual, that may represent even kind of details that you didn't know they were paying attention to, things that will help you to understand that although there may be limits upon the situation for practical reasons, or again, if it's somebody that's kind of, you came into their life at a point in time when they were still healing from something, it's effort, it feels like, that they will demonstrate to let you know, I may be slow in my progress to you, but I'm moving forward out of one stage of my life as quickly as I can. And rather than just exiting that sort of circumstance or that state of mind, or that kind of emotional disposition, I am also navigating in the direction of inviting you in fully, doing what I can in order to be a stable and uplifting presence for you starting now. And it feels like something that they want to convey that makes it clear to you they see long-term potential. So it may be something that They plan for like a future date and time that lets you know they see this extending far beyond just the immediate moment. Things that they share with you as well that kind of lets you know when they are envisioning the future, as they are actively building towards the future in their life, you have a place in that future. They want to have you by their side. So let's get some message cards and see what this person wants you to know right now. Okay, and they say, you are my sun, you are my moon. So you are this person's everything. You light them up inside. You compel them to be very expedient with their process of wrapping up loose ends in their life, or moving beyond a place where they had maybe told themselves, like, I'm not looking for love, I'm not ready for a partnership. And then you've come into their life, and all of those rules that they'd put in place for themselves no longer apply. They're wanting to meet you at a frequency where you feel very supported, very sustained by them, very loved, very seen and appreciated. And so it feels like they're pouring into themselves very vigorously at this particular point in time in order to build the courage to and the strength to sort of move away from things that stand in the way of the two of you experiencing something more deep with one another, or opening up on an emotional level so that they can experience the fullness of what is possible between the two of you. So it's like investments within themselves. It's more than just for them as a person. It's also with this understanding of, I want to give you the best of me. I want to give you the world. I don't want to hold anything back, and I don't want anything to stand between us anymore. They also say, you deserve the world, honey. Yeah, so this is somebody who wants to really shower you with affection. They want you to feel safe, to blossom into, the best version of yourself. This is somebody who wants to support your goals and dreams, wants to show you a love like you have never known before, because already the experience with you is unlike anything they've ever experienced with another person. Something about the way that you make them feel inside. You make them feel safe. You make them feel validated just as they are. And so there's this energy of, I want to be able to show up for you in a way that doesn't make you question, where you're not watching readings about what's this person's intentions, because they're demonstrated to you in a very unmistakable fashion, so that you understand that they are invested in you, mind, body, and soul. And so this, again, is somebody who is like tying up loose ends, seeking to kind of wrap up a cycle in their life or a chapter in their life, so that the next phase of their reality, something with more closeness with you, can begin. They also say, I'm in a better headspace now. So it feels like the experience of you, or the idea of you as part of the future that they are navigating towards, it's helping them to kind of keep their head up during like a challenging time. There's a sense of, everything will be okay, because there's love waiting for me on the other side of whatever the predicament is that they are in right now, whatever struggles that they are facing, whatever difficult kind of conversations, choices, or action steps that they need to take in order to close out cycles which aren't serving their highest good, or to kind of move through those energies of blocks, obstacles internally, externally. There's a sense that you're that light at the end of the tunnel. You're that person that helps them to see that all of that heavy lifting is worth it, because there's someone that they can align with very deeply. Maybe even words of wisdom, or being a shoulder for this person to cry on, or things about your own experience that you can truly empathize with what they are going through. Not just sort of be there in a supportive sense, but there may be things that are very congruent about your journeys, to where there's a sense that this person almost sees that you are someone who can hold every aspect of them. They can really hold every aspect of you. And that is something which has been noted by this person very obviously. And it's something that motivates and compels them to move towards you, to do whatever they need to do in order to ensure that this partnership develops, that there's something more between the two of you, that you are not just a lingering possibility or something that would always be a regret. I wonder what would have happened. I wonder who I could have become as a person, supported by a love that sees me and understands me on all levels. So it feels like any kind of internal dilemma or uncertainty that they may have been dealing with before, they've reached a place of resolution within themselves, and they have their eye on you. You are the person that they want to be with. You are the one that they see as like their perfect match. They also say, I hope that you like me just as much as I like you. Yeah, so more of that birds of a feather energy, seeing that the two of you are very compatible, even despite your differences, that there may be very subtle things between the two of you that just, you balance one another out, you just get one another. Maybe a very deeply empathic connection between the two of you. You can almost like pick up on each other's moods and move very accordingly. There's a sense that they feel very free to be themselves, very understood even within the silence, and a sense of they feel very, very compelled to try and provide you with some sort of reassurance in a long-term sense, that even if it's sort of a slow passageway to the next level of your connection with one another, that they're taking things day by day, step by step, moving with intention to that place of greater conjunction between the two of you. They're seeing you as worth whatever risks they have to take in order to actualize the potential, whatever sacrifices need to be made, whatever needs to be kind of removed from their life or closed out in order to sort of create more freedom for the two of you to explore and to express with one another what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. All of that is something that they're seeing as it's worth the effort. It's worth whatever they have to do in order to do their best, to do their part to ensure that there's a future between the two of you. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name if you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got L, S, J, E, F, P, U, I, Y, V, T, T, C, and V. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. Chose this crystal. So let's see, what are the intentions of the person on your mind towards you? So we have the storyteller. So their intentions are to provide you with answers to questions that may have been lingering between the two of you. If this is somebody that you have had some back and forth with, you've had like a no contact situation and you sense that they are coming back in, or maybe they've popped up in your present reality, and you're wondering sort of like, what do they want? What are their intentions at this particular point in time? This is somebody, it feels like, that wants to come clean about certain things, wants to provide you with clarity about their motivations in the past, maybe fears that had caused them to run from you or to kind of have some in and out behavior previously, because there's a sense that they want to not sort of leave your story as like an unfinished business, but there's a sense of we can rewrite the ending of our tale with one another. There's something better. There's something more between the two of us. So somebody that may have been working on themselves in like absence between the two of you, and they're wanting to sort of demonstrate to you some level of emotional intelligence that they have generated within themselves. If this is still a newer situation though, where you haven't had that like no contact period, this is somebody, it feels like, who the intention is to kind of provide you with some kind of an education in terms of both the best case scenarios that they envision in this situation and also worst case scenarios, based on something where they may be very candid with you about their shortcomings in previous relationships, so that you are very well informed of kind of what you're dealing with this individual. They're not wanting to catch you off guard or surprise you about certain aspects of their personality, particularly maybe things that others previously, like other romantic partners or friends or family, find to be more of their difficult characteristics. There's a sense that this person historically may have been somebody that tried to like overcompensate for aspects that had been relegated to the shadows. So like those undesirable qualities, which had led to sort of a sense of nobody ever really knew them for who they were or could accept them for who they were, because they never showed that to anyone. They tried their hardest to just sort of maintain a facade, which might have been sort of what contributed to circumstances falling apart in other situations or difficulties that they've had in terms of interpersonal relationships. So it feels like with this, in this situation with you, they want to try a very different approach, something that they've never done before. Maybe that's the result of like some shadow work or healing that they've been doing within themselves. Like, this is an opportunity to set a course for a different type of relationship or a different type of interaction with another person, because I've deepened my relationship with myself or my understanding of myself. And so it's the energy of kind of providing you with information, letting you know who they are on a deep core level, so that you are informed enough to make the decision for yourself. Is this a circumstance that I want to continue to involve myself with, or to let you know, like early on or at this point in time, who they are, some of those deeper layers or more difficult aspects of themselves. That way, if you feel that it's too much or it's not what you're looking for, feelings don't develop and then people get hurt. So it's a sense that it may be kind of some uncomfortable or difficult things, or things that might be sort of surprising aspects of themselves, stories that they may tell you about like previous chapters of their reality, that they may have grown beyond that version of themselves. They may no longer be operating in that mindset or as that individual, but it's somebody who feels like they want to let you know about their past, their flaws, their, deficits within themselves of character that they've worked on, or that they find very difficult to decipher, do anything about. They've just accepted it, or maybe are, confused as far as like, what can I do about these things? It's just part of who I am. So it feels like the intention is to sort of let you know that in a more of a well-rounded way than is typically their approach to connections, which might only be focusing on like the light, the happier aspects of themselves, the easy to deal with things, which has led to them feeling that other connections have operated in disservice to who they are, has bred resentment inside of themselves, or led to like self-sabotaging or destructive behaviors within other connections. So with you, it's a sense of like, I want to try something different. I want to create a different approach to see, can more of me or can all of me be loved and accepted and cherished by somebody. Not when it, comes out at an inopportune moment, but right from the start. Are you the type of person that has the capacity to sort of see past the more difficult aspects of me or the worst days of my life into the core, into the reality of like who I am now, who I've worked to become, and who I'm striving to evolve into? We also have close encounters. So again, this is more of that energy of somebody that wants to share with you some of the darker chapters of their personal narrative, not in a way to like seek pity or, to create some sort of unhealthy or toxic bond between the two of you, but it's a sense of almost like, I need you to know who I am as an individual, both the parts of me that are easy to deal with and the aspects of myself that other people have found very challenging, or I find very challenging to love and accept and kind of integrate within myself. So it feels like this is somebody who has been working on a degree of like self-awareness up to this point in time. They have moved beyond kind of a phase of their reality where they were maybe just pointing the finger of blame at everyone else, and they've worked to really accept their fair share of responsibility in kind of situations in their life that have fallen apart or have ended up in kind of pain and heartbreak. But it also feels like somebody who has unshouldered a lot of unnecessary burden in that regard that they were carrying around. And so it feels like something as far as like creating this narrative for you, this depiction, this kind of peek into sort of their journey up to this point in time, up to this version of themselves that you are now dealing with, that you are now presented with, kind of, not that they're wanting to scare you off or kind of downplay themselves and just sort of make you feel that it's not a good investment to continue to spend time with them or open your heart, but it's almost the sense of, I want to show you parts of myself that I typically hide, things that I'm ashamed of, who I was at like my worst moments, so that you are able to see and appreciate and understand all of those wonderful qualities, not in a way that is kind of feeding the ego, but so that we can develop more of a well-rounded connection with one another. So it's sharing maybe embarrassing things or vulnerabilities in the hope that when you feel comfortable, you will open up about certain things as well, in order for the two of you, it feels like they intend to kind of align with you in a different sort of way than has been the case with other people. They've learned that you can't just have connections where people are only there in sort of the sunshine times. This person might have been abandoned by people in kind of their darkest hour or during periods of turbulence. And so in this situation with you, it's almost like they need to bring some of those details to the forefront to see, will you stick around? Will you stick by my side? Do you still look at me with love in your eyes if you know about kind of the worst things that have happened, or the things that I'm not proud of? Because there's a sense that they see or anticipate you could have a very beautiful and very fulfilling relationship with one another on all levels, but it requires opening up about things that they are accustomed to kind of like avoiding or running from in romantic connections. We also have the eternal light of love. So feels like their intention is well to let you know that they have evolved beyond a version of themselves that may have been very stuck in like toxic or low vibrational patterns or lifestyle choices, not to, again, like feed the ego, but to give you a well-rounded understanding that they are someone who is capable of evolving. They are somebody who is capable of change. They have gone through some kind of process of metamorphosis, and they may be very content or satisfied with this version of themselves, but they are somebody that is focused on like a personal growth path, something where it feels like it's an intention to not just experience something romantic or emotional with you, but this is somebody who's seeking spiritual connection with another person. So it's the intention of almost letting you know the foundation that led to whatever necessitated them becoming this version of themselves that they currently are, or whatever kind of their path in life is, or the focus is at this particular point in time, spiritually or actually. It's a sense of, you need that backstory, you need all those details in order to truly have a context in terms of like what they've overcome, what they've had to kind of face within themselves, how they've been humbled, the mistakes that they've made, the victories that they've claimed, all of that. It's an intention to kind of introduce that into the emotional connection to almost kind of ensure, not really test, but just to ensure that you're both sort of focused in like the right direction. They may see or sense that you're a very spiritual person, or you're seeking a deeper type of partnership that is very akin to what they are seeking. And so it's a sense of like an intention to try to thread in some of those aspects of, the struggles that they've been through, how they have been shaped in the current version of themselves, to give you a deeper understanding of who they are, so that hopefully you can appreciate this version of them even more, and then also to really sort of give an invitation for you to share things you're comfortable with sharing, which gives them the opportunity to more deeply cherish and appreciate and celebrate who you have been working to become, who you are in this moment, as kind of the evidence of the things that you have overcome in the past. We also have transformation. Yeah, so again, more of that energy of showing you a different side of themselves than you have seen up to this point in time, so that you're very well informed of like what they're capable of on their best days and what has happened on the worst of days, so that you feel confident that they are authentic, that they're not just kind of trying to sell you a package of somebody that's in this real kind of idealized energy, or is up on a pedestal. It's like they're wanting you to sort of see the most human side of themselves, which can allow you to appreciate the divinity within, that they've realized within themselves, that they work to cultivate, or to fine tune within. It's the intention of evolving beyond just a mundane 3D connection. It feels like this person may see you or recognize you as like their soulmate, or somebody that has the capacity to sort of meet them at that level of like a higher level of love and partnership and connection than they've experienced before. So maybe somebody that's come through a period of profound transformation within, and this is like the first opportunity that they've had to connect with somebody of a like-minded variety that's along that same kind of path, or operating with that same capacity to almost sort of appreciate the yield of struggle in some sort of way. So it's not the energy of intending on kind of bringing down the vibe and the good times between the two of you, but almost something which adds in a layer of kind of, these are the storms that exist within me, or the storms that I have come through in my life in order to really become this version of myself. They're wanting you to know them in an all-encompassing way, so that they can almost present this kind of information in the hopes that you will allow them to get to know you, and some of more of those deeper intimate levels that you don't readily share with other people, or maybe have never experienced someone before that was even aware of such things that could be part of like a romantic connection. Maybe this is your first truly spiritually based connection with somebody that is aligned with that same kind of core frequency inside of themselves. It's almost like new territory, it feels like, for the two of you, that they recognize very, very consciously. And so it's kind of endeavoring to sort of emphasize or build upon that aspect of the dynamic, through disclosure, and through sort of showing you that they are somebody who, if you invest kind of your trust and faith in them, that they're the type of individual that won't just like hold you back, or provide you with like a stagnated or plateaued sort of experience in life and in love, but that they are somebody who is capable of change, they're capable of regeneration, they're capable of evolution. And with you, it's almost like they envision the two of you sort of continuing to grow and evolve as individuals, in a long-term sense, in your own respective ways, but then also experiencing a constantly evolving connection with one another. So let's take a look at their possible actions. We have unknown territory and great adventure. Yeah, so this is definitely like story time kind of energy. Something where, they may be sharing things, harrowing details of their experience, their life before you found one another. Things that may be almost very shocking, perhaps heartbreaking, not as a way to sort of like seek pity or, to manipulate you in any sort of way, but it's almost, it sets some sort of framework or context for like the person that they have worked very hard to become, giving you that backstory, or the kind of the details of who they were in like a less evolved version of themselves, in order for you to really be able to see that this is not just somebody who is claiming to be a high vibrational individual. They're not just claiming to be like a divine masculine or a divine feminine, but they've actually put in the work to align with their higher self, to honor that kind of shadow or lower nature within, but to also really strive to be very cognizant of and in constant conversation with that higher version of themselves as well. So something that may help to really illuminate for you some of the deeper layers of who they are, how their character has been shaped, or the reason that they are living the life that they are currently living, kind of like the before and after portrayal that they give you, that may, it feels like something that changes the way that you see them or you view them, but in a very positive way. It may be something where they present this almost in a very humble energy, but you may end up looking at this person almost like you became the hero of your own story, or you've been through things that would have crumbled most people, and yet here you are, your heart is still open to love, you're still smiling, you're still standing here, and all of that feels to be kind of like a declaration of a love language, in terms of trying to make you feel safe with this person, that this is the type of person that will stand with you in the storms. They don't just want to enjoy your sunshine. This is somebody that will be there with you in the darkest night. So let's get some message cards and see what they want you to know from their higher self. And we have, I want to kiss you. Yeah, so this is somebody that wants to experience a lot more intimacy with you than has been the case up to this point in time. This is somebody that almost like wants to merge souls with you. They don't just want to link their life with you. They want to have a very transcendent spiritual experience as far as love and partnership is concerned. And they see and sense that you are the type of individual, based on how you're living your life, or the vibe that you give off. You're different than people that they've known before, romantically or emotionally. You understand them in a different way. You just get it. You're aligned with something in a very pure and true way that they have been cultivating within, or that they've always been searching for with another person and couldn't find until they met you. They also say, you are my sun, you are my moon. So you are the yin to this person's yang, the yang to their yin. They see the two of you as very aligned on like a deep soul level. They may recognize you again as like a soulmate, maybe like a past life soulmate, or there's a sense here of some kind of greater purpose to the two of you aligning in one another's lives. It goes far beyond love and partnership. They may sense or anticipate that your interests, your passions, your drive, your motivation as people, as individuals, or even spiritually, that there's something that's very congruent about that, some kind of shared purpose or mission, almost like they've chosen to focus on that. They've answered some sort of call within, and the universe has blessed them now with the encounter and experience of you. And so it's a sense of wanting to open up to those deeper layers in order to solidify kind of the core of your connection with one another, in the hopes that you can accelerate with each other, romantically speaking, but then there's almost a sense of like it's purpose driven, or something that's ordained from on high, kind of this intersection with you. They also say, do you know how divine you are? Do you know how amazing you are? So they definitely see and recognize you as this very ethereal energy. You are unlike anybody that they have ever met before. And it feels like it gives them some degree of like gratitude or appreciation for struggles they went through in their life that caused them to sort of cleanse their perceptions or shift their focus away from lower vibrations, toxicity, denial inside of themselves. Some kind of healing journey has now equipped them with the ability to cross paths with you, but to also recognize you on a vibrational level for who you are as a soul. It's a sense that like if they'd met you sooner, they may have just, you may have passed each other by. You wouldn't have, it wouldn't have registered within the two of you. It's a sense that this person like feels you within their soul, and so the experience of you contemplating what the future can hold, it helps as well to kind of bring them back home to that sense of divinity within. Like you bring this person closer to God, or to their connection to God inside of themselves, because there's a sense of almost like their soul letting them know that you have aligned with one another for a reason, or you're operating in that same kind of spiritual beings having the human experience type of way of sort of moving about the world. And it feels to be something that is very, very unique, very special. They feel understood beyond words with you, which it feels like maybe even in their own sort of spiritual pursuits or journey up to this point in time, they've never really felt as connected to another individual along those lines as they do with you. They also say you deserve the world, honey. So this is somebody that has long-term plans and intentions of building upon all the layers and aspects, every facet they are wanting to fine-tune with you in this situation. This is somebody that's patient about how the connection will unfold. There's a sense of almost like a homecoming sort of energy, or even thinking that they have found the one with you that is helping to sort of reshape their visioning of what love and partnership can be with another person. And so it's a sense of wanting to savor every aspect of this, every season of this connection, every aspect between the two of you that sort of deepens your understanding of one another, experiencing one another in the good times and the bad, the sunshine and the storms, all of it. They want everything with you. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got L, G, V, F, I, Y, F, U, H, M, G, and E. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.